Today's review is very relevant for the current climate. I've got a road shoe, On Running's Cloudflow, which is a really good training and relatively fast shoe. Now, why is this relevant? A lot of you watching right down there are stuck at home right now because of different lockdowns around the world. In the UK, we're currently lucky that we can head outside and get one bit of exercise in a day, but that does mean for a lot of people, whether you are fully locked down or you've got that one out, you still want that second run in or the option to utilise that time differently, and therefore a road shoe is really important because ultimately if you've got a treadmill or you're doing any kind of cardio based work that isn't on a bike at home, this is probably what you're going to go for. So this is the updated version of the Cloudflow launched at the end of last year. It's the Citrus Sea colourway. There are two others, a black and a rusty orangey reddy thing. When I received this, the whole front, the whole toe box was white. However, it's winter, and I've got an image on the full review, which you'll find below, of the day I got it, and then I went out on one run and boom, it was grey. And that is the problem with winter running. Now I'm sure some of you will tell me if you get X product you can return it back. This is just simply water and a fair bit of use. To give you some perspective, I've had about 450 miles through these currently. So they have been used for a hell of a lot of running, and I'm now starting to see degradation around the outside of the toe box where 3 of the pods are on their way out. For the outsole, On Running use their cloud pods, and there's 18 of these squishy varieties across the bottom. Now you will find that the front ones flex a bit more, the rear ones are a bit stiffer, and as you'll see, some have got a rubber coating, some are just blown EVA foam. The rubber being there for those high contact wear areas, plus for obviously when it gets a bit wet, a bit greasy, a bit minging out on the road, you want that extra grip. Now on the whole, these are holding up pretty well. It's the outside of my foot here, these are the ones that are smashing down. I've actually got some chunks missing. I don't know if you can see, they are getting rather flat now. I can actually put my finger on it. That is where I predominantly land, so that's the first real wear on the shoe. However, the majority of the pods are actually very clean. On the heel, I'm not a heel striker, they look brand new. Through the midfoot, they're pretty much fine, and even on the forefoot, on the toe and on the inside, things are quite new. It's just really that main contact area. On Running use their Helion foam, which is through here to give you that support, to give you that cushion, to kind of take the shock out of things, and it has been good on the whole. I did make a mistake halfway through using these. After one particularly wet run, I took the insoles out, and I forgot I took them out. And for about 2 weeks, I didn't look inside, and I ran along going, these are getting really painful. I was wondering whether or not that's it, they're gone, they're dead. And then I looked inside and discovered that I'd taken this thin layer of foam out. And it just goes to show what effect, what impact this really does have. Bearing in mind, obviously the thickest part is around the heel, around the cup, and then you've got a tiny, flexible, thin layer here. But that in itself makes a huge difference to the comfort of your running. Inside the shoe, in that midsole area, is their new speedboard, their new revised speedboard, to obviously give you all the energy you can take from every step and to throw you forward. Now you can see there is a lot of spring within it. For me personally, they didn't have that get up and go, that just that little bit of zing, which I've had from other road shoes. But I have done tempo sessions in them, I have done interval sessions, I've done long slogs in them. I think the longest I've run of these is 18 miles. And they're great. I mean, if you want something for a marathon, if you want it for a half marathon, for training, for all manner of things, it is a really good all-round neutral shoe. So the Cloudflow has a 6mm heel to toe drop. This is that kind of sweet spot for, you know, middle distance, and for those really getting into running. Now, everything I run in, generally speaking, tends to be between 4 and 6mm. So they felt great off the gate. I've got used to the Cloud pods since I had the Cloud Ventures, and it does mean I can switch between these and a more traditional shoe, and I don't feel a huge difference. Up top you have a well ventilated seamless upper with some taping across to give it that bind, and I have found once you put these on, it is a very secure shoe. Your foot will not be moving around, and these laces really do lock. At the rear there's a pretty substantial heel cup with some reflective detailing around it, which is great for being seen at night, and this really does wrap you around, and that's what helps give you that really secure feeling. For me, this isn't the fastest shoe I've used. If I was to go for a 10k or a half marathon PB, I'd be looking for something different. But for getting in those training miles and for doing part of those speed sessions in training, these are brilliant. In terms of gripes, the laces are actually a bit of a nightmare. As good as they are for holding you in, they're so thin and so narrow that I found the first time I put them on, I locked them down and I got the tension wrong. And then as I was trying to unpick them, I found them starting to fray a little. So the one thing I would say with the Cloudflow is the laces are going to go before the shoe. Now, obviously laces are a perishable item, they will go at some point, but I do find these are particularly finicky once they're locked down. Provided you get the right tension, they're brilliant. The elephant in the room with all On Running shoes is the pod system, but moreover the gaps that lead in between them. Now they are quite substantial in places, and I have had small stones lodge in them mid-run. I found my way of getting rid of them. I'll tend to break stride and just scrape my foot along, and that's enough to normally throw most things out. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen, and I don't think there's any point in me lying that you will never find anything lodged in these shoes. The biggest factor that will determine whether or not they do comes down to where you're running in them. So there you have it, On Running's Cloudflow, £130, neutral, 6mm drop, racing and training shoe with a medium layer of cushioning, a really airy, secure upper, and a little bit of kick in them with that speed board. And finally, just stop sending me white shoes, please. No white shoes. I know we're going to summer now, it'll be better, but we've had 2 white shoes on running. Let's go for something that's got some colour that's going to prevent it from getting all mucky. So if you'd like to take a closer look at the shoes and have some close-up photography and some little anecdotes and so on, I provided a link in the description below to my website which has got the full review. And stay tuned, there are more reviews coming out this week for trail, fell and a mountain boot. See ya!